This is Mark Zuma, former voice of the Philadelphia 76ers, here to welcome you to the Sixers Standard. And now here are your hosts, Ethan Koppelman and Noah Movsowitz.
Yo! How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another edition of the Sixers Standard podcast. It's been a while. We haven't recorded this in a year, but we are back. Same hosts today. It is me, Ethan Koppelman, and my good bud, Noah Movsowitz. Noah, how you been doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Doing well, and I'm excited to be recording the Sixers Standard finally after a while. So we're back here. We think a lot of our old episodes weren't entirely focused, and we wanted to change that. We wanted to really come back now and wanted to make this podcast the best podcast it could be. So we're here and we're trying to do that right now. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, no, I wanted to start today with what I call the negative Sixers story of the week. And we're going to try to do this. Of course, our podcast is called the Sixers Standard, kind of looking at how the standard for the Sixers is low and how all the dumb things they have done over the years have affected them. So we're kind of a downer podcast on here. There's positive moments, but overall we're pessimists on this. So this is a segment we wanted to do not every week, but whenever it's applicable. And for sure this week it's applicable. I do not think this story is getting enough press. The Sixers are under investigation. We do not know how that investigation is going, but there, in a way, are two investigations going on now. And I wanted to explain both of them and how both of them can affect the team.
All right.
So the first investigation is one that you'll see every free agency about 4 or 5 times. It's tampering. I'm not concerned about the tampering. Daniel House and PJ Tucker, if we spoke to them early, which is quite possible, and there's a good chance we did tamper with league policy there. The worst case scenario is that we lose a second round pick and some money. There's nothing that has ever really gone too wrong with that happening. Your thoughts on that? Yeah.
All right. They definitely did talk early. Like a report came out that the Sixers wanted to sign PJ Tucker for 3 years at $3 million before free agency. They 100% did talk, but just losing like a second round pick, like we're in the win now mode. So like, what is that second round pick gonna do for us?
I'm going to
Like,
be honest with you.
Not really much.
And I agree with you. And I agree with everything you said. But I still have a little something that I want to say, and I think you're going to appreciate this. The free agency opens about on a certain day at 6:00. We know that one day where free agency opens about 6:00.
Yeah, they did.
How is it?
6.
How is it that at 6:05 there are 20 free agents signed? Do you think that teams are calling them at 6:01 for the first time, saying it's open, it's open, it just got open. Let's call my guy and see if we'll sign a deal? And do you think that guy picks up the phone right at 6:01, makes his decision in 3 minutes without consulting any other teams and signs the deal? I don't think so.
Well, wasn't
I don't think that's likely.
It was also New York, but they gave the specific deal out. You can't do that.
Well, what I'm saying is my point here is that any deal that happens in the first 20 minutes of free agency, what do you think what do you think the odds are that teams call these players, right? Immediately, the first time they call them is a minute after that window opens up, and players make their decision on where they want to go in 15 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
They don't. But like you don't.
Right.
But they got
because they talk beforehand. That's what I'm saying.
But the deal doesn't. But the deal shouldn't come out publicly. That's why they're getting. That's why they're investigating, because someone published that they were working towards like this deal. It didn't just happen with us. It happened to Jalen Brunson as well. So we're not the only ones.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this happens all the time. There's rumors that spill a lot of times. And again, it's an investigation. So I'm not a big fan of this but at the end of the day, right? I think we should move on, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like I know we all love Sam Hinkie.
A second round pick?
Yeah, like I know we all love Sam Hinkie. I know me and you are both fans of the process. We're not, crazy for it, but we think it was generally a smart business decision by the Sixers and a smart basketball decision by the Sixers. But we're not going to go over here and say that a second round pick for our contending Sixers, which, I mean, let's be honest, is not much better than getting an undrafted free agent. We're not going to say that's a big deal. So that's not the big deal.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned about is this allegation. Not even an allegation. It's not formal yet, but the suspicion that Michael Rubin, former Sixers owner, who in every single report has been noted to be in the negotiations, right? Which is suspicious on the ground level, because if you're not an owner of the team, why are you negotiating? Why are you negotiating that contract? That concerns me, right? So anyway, Michael Rubin, there's kind of the suspicion going around that he is paying the difference between the James Harden player option and what the Sixers are paying James Harden, what they are paying James Harden at $33 million a year. You know, Michael Rubin does a lot of shit, right? He owns Fanatics. I heard he's going into the gambling business, which makes sense. It could be very lucrative. And, you know, he was an owner of the Sixers. He's just very rich, and he uses his money to start a lot of new things. But the problem is with that, or not necessarily a problem, is there's suspicion that he's paying Harden the difference to help kind of the Sixers out. And that is what would be called avoiding the salary cap, right? There's a salary cap in the NBA. You can't circumvent the salary cap, and that's concerning. Now, you might ask, why would this be concerning? And the reason is there's precedent here. Back, I believe, in 2003, 2004, Joe Smith of the Minnesota Timberwolves signed 3 consecutive one-year deals of $1 million, and the Timberwolves are secretly paying him, I believe, another $70-80 million on the side to take those deals. Well, guess how many picks the Timberwolves lost?
A ton.
5 consecutive first-round picks. 5. Now, that got reduced to 4 eventually. They got the last one back. But it's concerning that, you know, if it turns out that something went wrong here, which I think is very possible, I'm going to admit, I don't know how possible, but I think there's a possibility here. I'm more negative on this than other people are. If this turns out to be true, I mean, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And
I think it is true, because I can tell by Harden's body language, he likes money. I can just tell. Like, he's like, a lot of NBA players, they just want money. That's what they want. They want to play basketball and they want to get paid. And I think
the issue isn't money. He's getting the same amount of money he would if he got the player option.
Yeah, but you want as much money as possible.
Right. And what Harden's doing is he's still helping the team, because he's getting that money, or that $13 million that we're saying he is getting is from Michael Rubin, and would not affect the salary cap, because if this is true, we would be cheating.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think it is true.
It's the kind of and
I just think it is true, because there's no way a player is gonna leave out $15 million. I get it, he's doing it to help the team, but like, he's definitely maybe he's not getting paid all the $15 million back, but he's probably getting paid some majority of the money back. And I think it is true.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible that it's all innocent, but I think there's a good chance it's true. Now,
I think it is true.
There is a positive about this. There is a positive. The Timberwolves, who are one of the dumbest organizations ever, were paying Joe Smith $1 million. They couldn't have made it more obvious. Yeah. The Sixers are paying Harden $33 million. At least that's what's they're officially paying Harden. So I feel like it's less dramatic in that way. You know what I'm saying? Where it's not that they're paying him $1 million reported. So I feel like there would be less of a punishment, but also the other concern is we don't really have our first round picks because we traded 2 to the Nets.
Yeah.
So we'll see what goes on. Again, the NBA has come down really harsh on this in the one scenario that there was precedent. So it's definitely concerning, and there's not a lot of information out. The NBA has kept the investigation pretty hush-hush. But yeah, I just think it's a concern. Any last thoughts?
It is a concern because Embiid's getting older and older, and if we lose say we lose 2 first-round picks, just hypothetically. We traded 2 of them to the Nets, the 2023, and I forget the other one. But if
It
we
was
lose, what was the other one? Was it like
hopes.
2020?
It was 2022 or 2023, but they chose to defer, so it's 2023, and then I want to say the other one's 25 because you can't trade back to
Yeah.
back
But
picks.
anyways, that's concerning because what if Embiid, he's getting older. Like, what if we don't win the title? We might have to blow it up. I don't know. Like, we're gonna need the picks to like. We might have to. I don't know. I think it can be very concerning in the future.
And
Maybe not right now, but in the future, it could hit us in the ass.
when you say, well, maybe if we don't win the title, like that's becoming more and more true every day. I mean, our hopes and our, dreams of winning a championship become less and less every day, less and less every playoffs we bounce out of. It's
Yeah.
so anything that hurts us, and this would hurt us in a major way, I think is concerning, and I think it should be talked about more.
Yep.
We're
Should
gonna
be.
move into our next segment. On that high note, right? Am I right? Really
Yeah.
good news. We're gonna move on to our next segment. We'd like to call it buy or sell. So I'm gonna explain to you how this works. We're gonna have 6 propositions every week, and I'm gonna do 3 of them. Noah's gonna do 3 of them, and we'll switch every week. This week, I'm going to do the national propositions. So they're going to be all about national type NBA news, and Noah's going to tell me if he buys or sells the proposition. Noah will do the 3 Sixers stories for this week, the 3 Sixers propositions, and I will give my opinion if I buy or sell. And then every week we'll switch. So next week I'll be on Sixers propositions, and Noah will do national. We wanted to get some
Yep.
national news in there too because NBA is not just about the Sixers.
It's about all the furry teams.
So we thought we would do a lot of that too. So Noah, you want me to start or you want you to start?
I'll start.
You'll start? Okay.
Alright. Buy or sell. The Sixers will be a top 3 seed in the East in
I'm gonna buy.
2020. Alright.
There's no hesitation on this one. I'm going to buy. I think that the Sixers have enough talent to succeed in the regular season. When Embiid's off, Harden, I think even if he isn't scoring, he has assists, and I think Harden paired with Maxey. I was a bit doubtful at first of this kind of pair, but I think honestly it works beautifully because Harden can kind of set up Maxey in that way where Maxey isn't as good of a point guard, but he's a great scorer. So I think that duo is going to work out really well. Even if Embiid's injury prone, Tobias Harris does not get enough credit. I know you are a big Tobias hater. I'm a Tobias fan. All the Cookie Monster love Tobias over on this side. But I think Tobias Harris is a really helpful player. Sure, he'll go through really cold stretches, but he's a good 3-point shooter. He showed that in the playoffs. The defense a bit questionable, but I think his finishing skills are really underrated too, and I think he's gaining a better court vision. So what the bottom line of Tobias is, even if you don't like him, he's a high volume guy, and he's going to step up and take a lot of shots, which in that sense is a good thing. I buy.
Alright, buy or sell. Joel Embiid will play at least 70 games this season.
I'm gonna sell. That 70 is too high. If you said 60, 65, 65, I might buy. 70, I cannot buy, and I'll tell you why. There's already going to be 7 to 8 as a low. I think there's going to be more. 7 to 8 games, probably more, that he's going to rest for load management. And I would be lying if I did not think. I would be lying to myself if I didn't think that at least once this season, there's some minor injury that pops up. Hopefully it's not major. The thing about Joel is he hasn't had a major injury in a while, but I think at this point, like, it's kind of expected that he'll have something minor come up. And that's in addition to the load management. Totally sell. If he gets there, good for him. I don't think it's going to happen.
Alright. Buy or sell. Daniel House will be the backup small forward, and Furkan Korkmaz will not be the backup small forward.
Now, I feel like we're in an era where basketball has kind of become positionless. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
Daniel House will be the
We'll get more
backup, and
minutes.
We'll get more minutes than Kork.
We'll get more minutes than Furkan Korkmaz.
Yeah.
I totally botched his name because I said it so fast. But I buy that too. I love Furkan. He's one of my favorite players on the team. But after what he showed last season, there's not a lot of hope for him. And I think he can turn it around. And, Furkan goes on hot stretches. But at the end of the day, Morey likes Daniel House. That's why he signed him. And I think he's going to be really helpful both. Him and Harden and Tucker have played with each other before. And I just generally think he's a helpful piece. And, he's going to have good connection with Harden. They signed him here to play.
Yeah.
Korkmaz was signed here a while ago, last free agency, and he's here. We didn't sign him to play. We signed him, because we signed him. We signed him last year. I think Daniel House is ultimately going to get more minutes.
Okay. Your turn.
So I'm going to move on to mine. Mine are the national stories of the week. A couple of these are kind of similar, but I'm interested to see what you think on them.
All right.
First one. Buy or sell. The Portland Trail Blazers will be a playoff team. And hold on, I'm going to tell you what I mean by this. Playoff team means they have to at least get by the play-in. If they lose in the play-in, that's not playoffs.
This is hard. I do think they will be. I'm going to buy it. I think Damian Lillard's going to have a really good season next year. And the addition of Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons, obviously re-signing. I just think they've been in the playoffs before. They might have lost CJ, but I think Shaedon Sharpe is going to be a really good player. And I think Anthony Simons is good as well. I think they're going to be I think they'll be the number 9 or 10 seed. They're going to barely make it.
9 or 10 seed, meaning they'll win both playing games.
They'll be in one, and yeah.
Because remember, play-in does not count as playoff. So if they lose in that play-in game, that doesn't.
I think they're going to win both of it. I think they'll win both.
Okay.
Because of Damian Lillard.
And don't forget about Jeremy Grant. He's been.
I forgot about him. Yeah. He's going to be good Grant. As well. Yeah, they're definitely going to win both playing games, or they'll win one and they'll make it.
Yeah, maybe they'll be a higher seed too.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see.
But I think they will be a playoff team.
Buy or sell. Kevin Durant plays a game for the Brooklyn Nets this year.
I'm going to buy it because I don't think he's going to get traded. I just think the trade packages.
Really?
I don't think he'll get traded. I think the trade packages are just. You're asking for a lot. And I think no team's going to bite. He's 34. He's about 33 to 34 years old. He may. Once his contract's done, he'll be 38 years old. I don't think any team is going to trade any of their young assets to get him. Maybe Boston with Jaylen Brown. But
what about Portland?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they should. But they could Portland, but I don't see him getting traded. I see him playing the game for the Brooklyn.
That's interesting. Okay. Last one. Buy or sell. Ben Simmons plays a game this calendar year, meaning when the calendar flips to 2023, it's over. Do you think buy or sell? Does he play a game this calendar year?
Yes, he does. He'll play. I don't think he'll probably not play for the first maybe 5. He might play maybe in November, maybe, but I think he will play eventually. We just
you
don't
think
know
he'll play
when.
eventually? I don't know. It's been so weird with Ben Simmons.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think he will play.
Okay, so that was buy or sell, everybody. We'll post one of these on the Instagram, and that's what we're going to be doing after every episode. Make sure to follow the Sixers Standard, no spaces, no caps on Instagram. We post promos for all the podcasts. We will post some stuff from the podcast. Keep you updated on everything Sixers Standard. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. But we will also post one of the propositions from here onto the Instagram. Make sure to leave a comment, and the best comment will get a shout out on the next episode.
Yep.
And we'll also do that for the trivia question of the week, which we will present right now. Trivia question of the week. This is going to be a little different from how we used to do trivia. It's just going to be one question. We'll give the answer at the end of the episode. That's what we'll do right before we go. Make sure you think it over. And also in the comments on Instagram, we'll also post this. Make sure to comment what you think the answer is. And first person that gets it right will also get a shout out on the next pod. So if you want to get famous, just come to us. We got a lot of listeners.
We got you. And
we got you with the shout outs. Men of the people right here. Me and Noah. Anyway, the trivia question of the week. Here it is. Which Sixers coaches of this decade, or not this decade, this century, starting in 2000, it's a two-part question. The highest winning percentage, and second, the highest total number of wins. Answer will be at the end of the podcast. Make sure to listen to the end for that. And that is a trivia question of the week. We will do that every week. So we're gonna wrap it up. That's gonna be pretty much the end of our podcast. For today, we hope you guys enjoyed listening today. Noah, any final thoughts?
Welcome back. The Sixers Standard Podcast. We're here. We're making podcasts basically every day. We're back.
Not every day. Once
Not
a
every
week.
day.
Once a week.
We're here.
We'll be making podcasts once a week. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Noah, drum roll please for the answer for the Sixers question. The Sixers coach with the highest winning percentage in the 2000s is...
Drum roll please.
Current Sixers head coach Doc Rivers.
That's a shock. That's shocking. Who would have thought? Glenn Rivers, he did it.
Glenn Rivers.
Glenn,
I guess, led the... I'm not going to say led the Sixers. He was here when the Sixers were a 1 seed, and they've been a playoff team ever since he was here. So if you think about it, it makes sense. But Doc Rivers, or Glenn, is the winningest coach by win percentage. And now I need another drum roll for part B.
Drum roll.
The winningest coach of the Sixers by total wins is...
Drum roll.
Brett Brown. And the interesting thing about Brett Brown is he also has a winning percentage, which is like 0.38 something. It is not very high at all. And of course, the reason why is 10 and 72 seasons like the one the Sixers suffered.
Yep.
But, you're here that long, you get 200 something wins. That gets you there. Longevity is a big factor in that. Anyway, that will be the end of the Sixers Standard Podcast. For Ethan Koppelman and Noah Mofsowitz, we will see you guys next week.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers.